All right, so I guess to start things off, we're gonna start by creating a repo. I feel like that's a good place to start, and then make sure that gets all up and running, and then maybe start filling out some issues. Kevin and Michelle, if you have any thoughts while I'm filling out issues or just anything with the code while we get going, chime in. We're already starting out a little strange because I'm using actually the SvelteKit branch of this Svelte starter. But I'll explain that in a second. So we'll start by using a template. Website's already taken. We need a new name. We'll call it website 2 for now. I think we're eventually going to port this over to the other repo. Why not work in public? Include all branches so that we can pull from SvelteKit. Amazing. Let's go and switch to that branch. Let's say switch to kit, update, understand. And then let's just rename it main. All right, so now we've got our repo. Let's go ahead and clone this. All right, we have website 2 now. Let's install things. I've just been using PnPM recently because I saw someone said that it's better. So that's what we're going with. Also, all right, good to note. We've got some stuff in here that we'll probably actually want to change because this starter template comes with a bunch of stuff that's kind of already in place, and we're not going to need some of it. And this is going to be a slightly big project, so I don't want any random stuff in there. So first, let's just rename the website. Let's see. That stuff's all good. We definitely don't need layer cake because we're not doing any charts as far as I know right now. We'll probably use most everything else. I'm not sure which D3 version we're going to use because with SvelteKit, there's some issues importing stuff. So we'll see how this goes. Actually, we might not even need D3 at all, now that I think about it. You know what? I'll probably end up using it, at least in like the build pipeline or the data processing pipeline possibly. So we'll leave it. Okay, let me redo that. Cool. All right, so let's just start taking a look at everything that's in here. Starting with our app HTML. This is super bare bones, just has like the body tag, some injecting stuff for the head elements and where all the Svelte content's going to live. We're definitely not going to touch this at all. Most of our work will be done in the components. Let's just say we got a lot of demo stuff here because, again, this is for our stories usually. So it's a little bit of a different focus. So I'm going to go ahead and actually just like clean everything out. And let's just even make sure stuff is up and running. And start there. All right, I'm going to run dev. It's a good start. I'm actually going to use Firefox. Nice, a little redundant because obviously we already have some stuff in there that reminds me. So we actually have, and if we look at layouts, routes, layout, this is applied to every single route. And so this header component is actually being brought in. And so that's something we'll have to think about, what we want to kind of be consistent site wide. So the header component right now literally just says logo, nothing else happening. Might even want to start fresh with that too. So might even go ahead and just comment that up for now. Okay, so that's good. Blank slate. What else? I feel like I should figure out what we want to actually do first. Definitely, we have a lot of data processing stuff to port over, so that might be a good place to start. Actually, I'm going to make use of our GitHub issues and start writing stuff down so I don't forget, and then we can kind of structure them a little bit. Did we not delete the master branch? Oh, interesting. Let's get rid of that so it's not confusing. Oh, wait. Weird. All right, well, I guess we're leaving it for now. All right, let's go to issues. Some things I know, I was just thinking off the top when we're talking about this new site, is things that we don't have currently, which is like a better responsive image solution, which is a little more up to date with best practices. So I'll say better or responsive images. Some other things, lazy loading images. That's some more stuff that is like now built into browsers. So loading images. You're definitely going to have to port over our legacy footer build. I'll explain that later when we actually get to it. Maybe include new analytics data. So we used to use Google Analytics, now we have our own. So we can maybe wrap that in from a data standpoint. What else do we need to do? I guess high level, we need to bring in copy from Google Docs. We need to bring in data from Google Sheet. That's essentially our mini CMS. Let's start with those two things because I think those are pretty crucial. All right, so somewhere in here, yep, this file. We've already got like all the parsing for this stuff built in because it's something that we do often. So let's actually grab I'll do this over here just in case we don't want to show certain things on our Google Drive. Okay, this is fine to look at. So basically we have everything right in this Google Drive. Let's start with our beautiful CMS, which essentially just handles all of our published stories. So we need to grab that and Actually, I'm not sure where we're going to actually want to do this. If we're going to want to pre-process everything or just have some reusable scripts and do it in the component itself, TBD. So right now I'll just put what we normally do, which is in the source data folder. And we'll call this stories.csv. While we're at it, maybe even let's groom this. I know there's some stuff that we for sure don't use anymore. I don't even know what ignore is. I think, I don't know, maybe that is used actually, but you don't need that. I guess that's it. Everything else might, tech is clearly, no, we never ended up using that. So I'm going to delete that as well. Okay. I think we also use this, which we do. So let's grab this, our authors. And oh, oops, that's actually obviously the same one. It's just a different GID. Authors. All right, so I think that's might be actually it for our data, and then for our Google Docs. I know we definitely have a few pieces here. Let's see. We've got our about page, FAQ page, privacy policy page. So let's go ahead and grab all those. Even though we may want to rethink how we actually structure that, maybe it does make sense for them to be in separate pages, or it does, I'm not sure. I forgot what that one was. That's about. Thank you. And all right. Now let's actually see if we can pull those down. Npm run gdoc. Sweet. In theory, that worked. So we should now see in our data folder. Nice. So we've got all those things. Let's actually delete those ones because those are just from testing. So now we should see, oh, that's not ideal. That's not what we want. Stories. That looks right. Interesting. And the other ones looks right. So it's just the author page that's not working. Let's see what happened. We had a GID. Let me make sure that was the right value. It wasn't the right value. There's actually 0 on there. All right, let's see if we got it now. Okay, amazing. We're in business. So we've got a bunch of data to play with. TBD where we process that, but let's go ahead and what to do next, I guess. I mean, I guess we can start building out the actual routes that we know we're going to have, just kind of get some infrastructure going. So layout, right, is this one that's applied to everything. and all the contents slotted in here. So index is going to be that home page. And probably want to rename some things. So that's app is kind of meaningless now because this is a multi-page app. What other routes are we going to want? There's a few ways to do this in SvelteKit. I like the folder method. I think you can actually do a standalone page too, but I don't know. Actually, let's try that. About.svelte. Privacy.svelte. Q.svelte. And I'm just assuming these also exist. We're still planning out what the design and whatnot's going to be. So TBD if those are actual real pages still. Then we're going to want our authors pages. And actually, let me model what we currently have. Cool. So if we go to an author, okay, /author. So we'll want author as the folder, and then inside of that, actually, we're going to want, I don't know what to name. We can name this whatever we want. It's going to be basically anything in brackets. This will be dynamic. Name probably makes more sense. So that will be another route.
Wait, sorry, what does the bracket thing do?
Oh, it means you can dynamically render pages. So we can have like, also, hello, Kevin. We can have like infinite number of pages generated via data. So it will just, yeah, does that make sense? So like, instead of us having to pre-hard code where is it? A page called Russell-Goldenberg / index. We'll just have data, which will build all those pages automatically. So it's basically like for like.
So you're gonna have another component that will call the bracketed component and generate it that way, or how does that work?
No, so this is where some of the awesomeness of Svelte comes in. Basically, as long as it's linked somewhere, so like in our index thing right here, if we have an href that's like whatever /author / Russell Goldenberg, it will create a page automatically. Like it basically crawls all the URLs, and then it's like, oh, we need to have this page called Russell Goldenberg be generated, and it'll generate that. And I guess you'll see soon, or maybe not today, but
the name component.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's the name route. So in SvelteKit, there's actually a differentiation between routes and components. Routes are literally like, I mean, I'm probably going to butcher the terminology. It's like an endpoint, right? So it's like the actual URL endpoint.
And so can it be the only thing in that folder?
Name.svelte?
Yeah.
Oh, you can have other things, I think. Yeah, because this is just like subdirectories in a web page. Think of it that way.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's pretty awesome because then basically we just can have this one page and it'll build all the author pages, as long as it basically just pull out that URL, and then we'll do some data stuff that actually figures out how to, like, what to render on the page itself. But it's pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. Just take my word for it. It's awesome.
I believe you.
All right. So I feel like that's most of it right now. I feel like this is also a good point to make sure those things are doing what we think they are. So in our so let's say, so in index, also maybe we also want them to all be pre-rendered. So I think you still need to add this. SvelteKit is not 1.0 yet, so things are still changing, but I'm assuming this isn't. We want everything to pre-render on our site, so I'm just going to go ahead and add those all in there. Is this one open? Oh, interesting. I made that a folder. Delete that. That's felt. Okay, and then this is where I think it gets a lot of personal preference. I really don't like to put anything in the routes itself, except and then put all the stuff in actual components as much as possible. I haven't had to build out any large scale sites yet, so I might very well change my mind. But so like you can see in our base one, I usually just put like this meta component for all the metadata, and then just like this app thing, and everything else is handled in an app. So I might kind of continue that approach. So instead of app, I'm actually going to call this homepage or home. I feel like everyone knows what home means. And then in our components, we'll rename that. And then let's see, let's also let's actually just duplicate. I should have just duplicated all these files. Oh well, in here, I'll just do the same thing. About. And now we actually need an about. So let's say home.svelte has nothing. About.svelte. About page. And let's see if stuff is actually working. Awesome. So that's good. Now to also just make sure everything is connected, HHF. So let me be a little kinder and stop flashing things back and forth. Okay. So now we're in business. What to do next? So many things to do. Maybe. So we've got our, I guess I'll set up the other components just because that's going to happen. So I can't duplicate, huh? All right, so FAQ. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to bother with those yet. I'll just make sure we get everything working properly for those first 2 pages, and then maybe also the author page, and then we'll worry about porting stuff over. So next is, let's see, in our index thing. So this is where I think we can do some of the loading. Let me bring up SvelteKit docs. Okay, I think this is what we want. Yep, this is what I want. So what I'm thinking is, because again, this is the route. We can do all the data processing here, which means I'm pretty sure when the page actually loads and is rendered, it's not going to have any of that data that we don't need if we clean it up here. So let me just actually start doing stuff and see what it looks like. So this is just like their dummy example. Oh, hold on, got to pause for a second. All right, so this is just the dummy example, but we'll just use it to start to make sure we can get what we think we're getting. Let's see, so it returns an article properties, and then, well, obviously we're not doing this, so let's get rid of all that because that's all based on dummy data. But let's include this just for posterity because that's a thing. So since we're not loading the data synchronously, we might be able to just, I think we can just import it. So then we can actually just not do anything with that or any waiting. And let's just say test. And then URL doesn't exist, so upload, I don't know, data. All right, now let's to actually access the article. I think we would export that article or props. I'm pretty sure it's article, maybe not. And then let's just go ahead and console log article and see what happens here. Hey, look at that. It actually worked. So now we know how to pass stuff in from the route. Let us try importing our data. So maybe up here, how we normally would input stories from data stories.csv. Also, this works because, like I mentioned, we have a bunch of other stuff already built out. It's not just like the skeleton template. So I have, for example, some Svelte pre-processing, which should also let it, and plugins and whatnot. So like DSV lets us import CSV files, and we also have one for SVG. So that's a little convenience feature. So in theory, we should actually just be able to, let's see if we just do that. And now let's see if we actually have access to all the story data. We do. Amazing. So what I was thinking is, because we don't want to pass all this down, that we can really clean it up. We can do our pre-processing right here. And we honestly don't need the page param slug. So let's just say we'll probably end up ultimately having a utility for cleaning this data. Imagine we're going to grab this from a bunch of other places. So we probably want to make this reusable. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new JS file for cleaning up story data. So let's call it clean or parse stories. I don't know. Export default function parse stories. I imagine we'll end up passing in a bunch of some parameters and data. And then we will, or maybe data and some options. Yeah, and then it will return stuff. So that's that function. Let's import it. Import stories. Utils. Did I save it in the right place? details parse stories.js. So then here, actually not even, I'm like, we can do it right up here. Actually, or is it better to do it all in the load function? I'm not sure. Const data equals parse stories, expecting stories, and we don't have any options right now, so we'll start with that. It is just vague, so stories data. All right. In theory, that should, oh, interesting. It logs everything out because it's pre-rendering. So that's obviously worked. We can just check in the browser. Yep.
Question, Russell.
Oh, hi, Michelle.
Hello.
I forgot that other people were here.
That's okay. No worries. Can you go back to the code? Just so you're saying that everything in index Svelte, what you're doing there, that is before the components load?
Yeah, so think of this module component in the route as like server side stuff, even though what we're ultimately generating, right, is static. This stuff will run when we like run our build task, which we're going to do before we deploy. So this will run and do all this stuff and then send over some of the data to the homepage, but none of that's going to happen on the front end. The front end is just going to know that it already has this stories object, the stories variable. And it's not going to actually do any of this stuff at all. So does that make sense?
Yeah. Nice.
Like this could be done server side. Like we could absolutely have this like on a node server, and this could be done like just like with a normal pay like request, but we don't have anything dynamic. So it makes more sense to just bake everything out statically. And then, yeah, so that is what is happening here. So we'll be able to see like when we soon one day run the builds, that we'll be able to see like that if we like filter the stories here, you're not going to see all stories and like the filtering happen on the front end. You'll just see what's filtered. So yeah, basically we can kind of like optimize every single page so it's like no bloat and it's just using the data it needs. So that's like, I'm hoping a nice side effect of all this, or redoing it in Svelte at least. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Amazing. So let's actually test that out. So let's say parse stories. All we wanted to do is return data.map d.url. So now when it loads, this should just have, yeah, so now it is just, instead of a bunch of objects, it's literally just a bunch of strings, which are the URLs of the stories. So the first thing we can, well, maybe not obviously do here, but let's see, const clean. We have to convert a bunch of stuff, data.map, because it's all CSV, so it's all strings. So I'm pretty sure I have a version of this in our old website build. So I'm going to see if I can find that and plug in some of that. I do. Amazing. Ooh, we're going to use this as an opportunity to update some stuff. Not sure I love the arrayify name. Okay, so right now we're just going to clone the object. Date is a new thing. Oh, because I did some, I see, some D3 time parsing. So let's create, let's see, whatever we can put in here, D3 time parse. Insert date will actually be format date. Let's be better. Format date. This also means we need to bring in D3, which is now going to be a very interesting exercise. Import star as D3. I don't even know. Might go down a rabbit hole now with that, or I might have to use. See, format date, d.date. Views, that's not something that exists anymore, so we're gonna have to redo that. Same with time on page because we're not using analytics. Image, that's a lot of stuff. Looks like we're creating I'm really curious what's happening there. Let's actually pause and inspect maybe our stories. Oh, I see. I was just replacing the slashes. That's okay. Well, let's go back to, because we know I might want to try D3. So let's actually just right now return the data, see if importing D3 works or it totally hates us. It does hate us, so no. I wonder if we just do import D3. Oh, okay. I think that's happier. Okay. That worked for now. I don't know if that's going to work when we do the SSR, but we'll see. So maybe this is a good stopping point because I don't want to go too far ahead without making sure that's working. So let's get rid of that console log because that's annoying. And maybe, yes, I know we don't need that. Actually, no, let's keep that. And then let's pass stories in as a prop to home. Now let's go to home and export let stories. And then let's just simply do stories of 0 dot head. And first, let's see if that, that's what I thought. Let us. So basically, I know you know this, Michelle. There are lots of issues still with bundling external modules, invites, and SSR when it comes to SvelteKit. That's one of the big outstanding issues, as far as I know, in terms of it getting to 1.0. So I think that's part of the problem here. I'm assuming if we get rid of this, it's going to be happy. It is. So we'll either have to come up with our, and also I don't even know where D3 is. All right. For the time being, we're going to ignore the date parsing because everything, otherwise we can get around it. Same with this time. I don't even know what time is. But you can see this is showing the title of the first story. So all the data passing around in parameters is making its way to this home component and rendering the first one. If we plugged in something more like our 100th thing in the list, there we go. Or if we wanted to just, move through each stories as head, you can get a nice little list of every story. And there we go. All the pudding stories, titles. All right, let's keep cleaning data. I feel like that's important. Ignoring D3 for the time being, I'm going to put that as an issue so we can stay on top of it, which is how to include D3. All right, but a bunch of this other stuff is really straightforward. So let's see, date, ignore that for now. It'll stay as a string. Image, right? We saw it's just replacing the slash with an underscore. Time, we're also ignoring that for now. Not even sure why we had two things there. Author, now we need this arrayify thing. I know what this is doing because in our data, if we look at author, they're comma delimited. So I had a function aptly named arrayify that did this. And let's go ahead and it's a one-liner. So I'll just tighten it up. And I want to change the name there. Let's say string to array. Is that better? I don't know.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yes,
Like,
okay.
yes,
I mean,
yeah, I like that.
I mean, technically it's comma separated string to array, but oh well.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
This is a little better than arrayify. So authors, topics, charts, and keywords, those are all things that can have multiple values in our Google spreadsheet. So we just split by the comma and then trim the white space. And there we have it. So now I'm going to log out I guess we can log in here. Console.table stories. And you can see our hopefully.
Oh my gosh, I've never done that.
Oh yeah, I love console.table. The nice thing is you can sort and stuff too. Oh wait, you can't sort in Firefox. Oh, much better in Chrome. So in Chrome, why are you not happy in Chrome? That's interesting. Oh, it's just not happy anywhere. That's fair. I don't know what I changed. What did I change? I know what we did. We never returned the data. Return clean. Fantastic. Okay, so in Chrome, yeah, you can just, I guess they're not very sortable, but you know, there we go. They're sortable. And that's just a lot of columns. So maybe we don't need all those columns. Maybe that's actually something, one of the options. Maybe we actually pass in exactly which columns we want to keep. Actually, how do I want to do this? Maybe I'll just make this whole thing an object. Data columns. And then back in Svelte data columns. Maybe keys or props or columns. I'll stay with columns. I don't know, Michelle, Costa, you know, I get hung up on naming. Columns.
Sorry, this is for, keys or columns, you're saying?
Yeah, like which of the, or, you know, which of, because we don't need all of these. So I'm just saying like which ones do we actually want to bring in.
I like keys. I feel like they're only columns when you're like thinking of them as a table, which
big, true.
they're not necessarily. So yeah. but they're
Fine.
both fine. I'd pick keys.
All right, so we're gonna go with, we don't need that. Don't need that. Topic pick, don't need that for now. Footer, definitely don't need that. Author. I guess we'll keep that. Get rid of that. Last checked. Don't need that. Where did image even come from? Okay, so those are all the properties that we want. Sorry, those are the keys that we want.
Properties might be better.
It's longer.
Yeah.
We're sticking. Let's say so comma. Oops. Come on, multi-cursor. There we almost. Yes. Okay, so that's everything we want. And then back in our parse stories, keys. So it's actually we're gonna have like a little loop within a loop here. So instead of returning everything, we're just gonna loop over keys. So let's see, and we're gonna actually no, we're gonna filter. No, I don't know, a few ways we could do this. Let's loop over the keys, I suppose. Key, and we're gonna return. Can we do like the, I always like to use this when I can. Shoot, what is it? Does that work? Is that a thing?
I think it's just the regular bracket. Like you want it to be.
Dynamic, yeah, that.
Oh, yes, I
want
think
it.
that's right. Yeah, it's a variable. It's not the word. The key isn't key. It's the variable key. Yeah,
yes,
that should be right.
exactly. Yes. Oh, and I just missed the parentheses. Yes, I love this. Okay, so that, what is that going to do? It's going to create a bunch of objects with those properties. Is that what I want? I don't know.
It certainly looks cool, but
it's going to create an array with individual. I don't think that's what I want.
I think that might be right. It's going to make an array for each of your keys that has the key to the value.
But I want to flatten them all into one object ultimately. So, I mean, I feel like this is this could be a map reduce situation. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this is a map reduce situation. So we're gonna have an array. So basically, this is gonna look like, right? It's gonna look like head, author, right? Okay, so that's what that's gonna look like. Or sorry, it's gonna be like this. No, that's right. It's gonna look like that. And then if we reduce previous, current, and all we say is current of, sorry. We're gonna return previous. Say, so we're going to start it. It's just an empty object, and we're going to say previous of. Oh no, this is overcomplicating things. Okay, I tried. All right. We're just gonna simplify it. I'm sure there's a clever way to do this, but we don't need to be clever. So instead of, I'm gonna miss that, but oh well. So it'll just be key, and then we'll just set output of key equals D of key. I guess that's simpler. Okay. Now we have to do the cleaning phase, but we're not cleaning. We're only cleaning. I wonder if I should do all the cleaning stuff first and then pick it, because we're not going to know what to clean. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, this is not happening. This is only happening at build time, so it's not like it has to be super efficient. I All right, so let's keep const clean equals.
Russell, I'm gonna head out, but good luck.
All right, thank you, thank you. I'll probably wrap soon.
Cool. Bye.
Bye. So data.map. It's basically what we had before. Okay, and then that's our clean data, and then results is data.map. Or sorry, clean.map. It's gonna be a little shorthand here. Return O. And return result. Okay, so basically we clean everything, even if we're not going to use it, and then we're going to basically just filter down to the properties that we want to tighten it up. Now we should have. I thought we were going to have fewer. Oh yeah, okay. Now look, here we go. We have just the properties we want. And it also, you can see now we've got our cleaned up stuff in there as well. So that did exactly what we were hoping for. Interestingly though, we don't have image. That's why I say, because that's a created one. And image, which, oh no, I did create it, it's there. So perfect. Oh, and we should put the full URL in just so we have it too. URL HTTPS cool slash. Yep. D dots. I guess there's 2 years that I guess it'll be absolute path. Okay. So we'll just call this path and then maybe image. It's actually more of like the image slug. Going to call this slug actually. I feel like that's better. And then image. Actually do this kind of same thing. Slug d.url. Well, const make slug. Okay. Yeah, just so it's all kind of buttoned up and we don't have to do any of that prefix and suffixing and whatnot. That's okay. Actually, that isn't. I know. You know what? I don't want to do it this way. Because I know we're going to have responsive images, so we'll just do that for now. Okay. Oh. What did I do? Okay, let's get this console login out of here. And all right. Well, let us stop there. And next time we'll maybe start making this look like a web page. I don't know. We'll see.